The Midnight Monster by Kurt Zinnerman. There was once a young boy named Gavin. At first glance, you would have thought that Gavin was an average 5-year-old. But there was nothing average about Gavin, nothing average at all. Gavin had a huge imagination. There were many times when Gavin would imagine himself flying like a superhero, or driving a winning race car, or rescuing a princess from a fire-breathing dragon. But Gavin was not imagining any of these things on the night he woke up screaming, "Mom! Mom! Help!" Gavin was screaming, "Help me!" Gavin's mother ran from her bedroom, which was right next to Gavin's. She turned on the light as she passed the switch near the door. "What is it?" Gavin's mom asked, alarmed. "What happened?" I heard a noise," Gavin sobbed. It was grunting. It sounded like a monster in the wall, and it was pulling something behind him." Gavin's mother held him close. "You must have had a bad dream," she gently explained. "There are no monsters in the wall." "But I heard him," Gavin insisted. "I heard it pulling something. Snort, snort." Gavin's dad wandered sleepily into the room. "Did you have a bad dream, buddy?" he asked, scratching his head. "I heard a monster, Dad," Gavin repeated, "and it was pulling on something." "There are no monsters in this house, little man," Dad said. "Try to go back to sleep, okay? We all need to get our rest." After Gavin's mom had tucked him back into bed, he tried his best to ignore the monster. Just as he was about to fall asleep, he heard it again. It seemed more distant now, but he was sure that the noise was coming from inside his bedroom wall. "I'm a little scared." Gavin pulled the blanket up over his head and hoped that the morning would come soon. The next day, Gavin was determined to find out more about the monster. Not only did it have plenty of imagination, but Gavin was also a very courageous boy. He was not afraid of any kind of monster, especially a monster that was afraid to show itself. Gavin rummaged through his toy box until he found his mallet. He normally used it for hammering pegs into his toy workbench, but on that day, he had something else in mind. Gavin went to the wall of his bedroom where the monster was hiding. He started in the corner of the room and pounded one end of the wall to the other. He thought since the monster was awake during the night, it would be sleeping at night. "If you won't let me sleep at night," Gavin yelled at the wall, "I won't let you sleep during the day either." He pounded and pounded with his little mallet. Gavin's mom was in her bedroom and heard Gavin tapping on the other side of the wall. She thought he was playing, so she tapped on the wall too. Of course, Gavin thought his mom's tapping was the monster, so he found his blue baseball bat and pounded harder on the wall. Gavin's mom came running into his bedroom and saw Gavin swinging his blue plastic bat against the wall. "What are you doing into your bedroom?" she demanded. "I'm scaring the monster," Gavin yelled back as he kept hitting the wall. "I'm scaring him so he won't come back." Gavin's mom took his bat and his mallet away. "There's no monster," she said. Then she turned and left, taking his toys away. The next night, Gavin was ready. He found the cape from his Halloween costume and tied it around himself. His superhero cape always made Gavin feel braver. He also found his swimming goggles from last summer, in case he needed eye protection. Gavin ran around in a circle to see if the cape worked. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see it flying behind him as he went around and around in his room. He was ready to go. Gavin waited and waited. He had been in bed for hours, but there was no noises. Maybe his pounding on the wall had worked. Close to midnight, Gavin heard something. Grrr. It must be waking up, Gavin whispered to himself. Grrr, grrr. He heard again. Gavin snuck out of his room and got his bat from the kitchen cupboard where his mom had put it earlier that day. The grunting noises had heard the night before were loud and clear when he returned to his room. I'm scared. Gavin put his ear up to the wall to listen. He quietly crept into his parents' bedroom to see if he could hear it from their side of the wall. The monster was not in the wall. The noises were coming from his parents' bed. The monster was trying to get his dad. There was no time to lose. Gavin pulled a chair over his dad's side of the bed. Gavin climbed up the chair and raised his weapon high over his head. He brought his plastic bat down on the big lump in the bed that was making all the noise. Whap, whap, whap. Suddenly, the covers flew back and his dad comes straight out of bed. His arms were flailing all around. He accidentally knocked the bat out of Gavin's hand and Gavin jumped off the chair. Gavin ran away for his life. His superhero cape was working flawlessly, flapping behind him as he zoomed out of the room. What's going on? Gavin's mom asked sleepily as she woke up. I think Gavin just hit me with the bat, Gavin's dad said. Gavin was peeking back into his parents' bedroom, waiting to see the monster. Did I get him? Did I get him? His mom, Gavin, took one step in the room and looked both ways to see if the monster was lurking in the shadows. I heard the monster trying to get you, Dad, so I got him first. Gavin's mom started laughing. Gavin's dad was sitting up in bed, looking around, rubbing his shoulder. Gavin's mom was laughing louder and louder. You're the monster, Dad, Gavin's mom said. I was snoring. Every night you snore, Gavin's mom said. But I can't help it. I'm not a monster. That was only your dad, Gavin. He was making the silly monster noises, and you hit him with the plastic baseball bat. I think we should put this plastic bat in a safe place. But Gavin's mom had a different idea. She took the bat from the dad and gave it to a couple of practice swings in the air. I think I'll keep this on my side of the bed, just in case there are any more monsters, she said with a wink. The end.